works. If it works, hopefully. I see a live, so sure it comes up.
Of course it will work, Lisa.
I'm like, this is the first time in the new house. I'm like, oh gosh, it better work. Hopefully the internet is good. Okay. Looks like we're live streaming, so I'll hand it over to Karen and you can start the meeting.
Thank you, Lisa. I'd like to call this meeting of the Heritage Permit Review Subcommittee, August 19th, 2025 to order. Please note that quorum is present. And members of the public are advised that individuals and the media may be audibly and or visually recording this meeting. Now, the committee, you have before you the agenda for this meeting. May I have a motion to approve the agenda as presented? I see Andy and I see Sandra. Is there anyone opposed? Seeing none, that motion is carried. Are there any declarations of interest today? I see none. Thank you. And now moving on to approval of the minutes of the previous meeting. HPRC 25007 from July 15th, 2025. May I have a motion to approve the minutes as presented? I see Katie and Andy. Thank you. Is there anyone opposed? Seeing none, that motion is carried. Okay, on to the heritage permit applications for this evening. So that's found under section 9 of the agenda. We have 3 permits on the agenda tonight. So 9.1, HP 2025-028, 600 York Boulevard in Hamilton, which is Dundurn Castle, which is a Part 4 property. The application is for removal of a dying sycamore maple tree on the west side of Dundurn Castle, including cutting the stump as low to the grade as possible. And note, the stump is not proposed to be removed due to the presence of potential archaeological artifacts. Do we have a representative of the applicant here this evening?
Hi, Karen. I'll speak to the item on Ian's behalf.
Okay, so please go ahead, Lisa, if you have anything to add to the application.
I don't think I have much to add. The tree is an advanced stage of decline with trunk rot and root rot, and it's been identified as a safety hazard. So we're just looking to remove it so that it's not going to damage the building. From the photos in the note sheet, you can see that it's very close to the foundation of Dundurn Castle itself, so better for it to be removed than to damage anything if it fell. And of course, public safety hazard as well.
Okay, thank you. Is there any questions from the committee for Lisa?
Sure, I got one.
Please go ahead, Graham.
Yeah. Is there any plans on putting a replacement on the other side to keep some shade in that area?
I think Dundurn Castle is undergoing a regular planting schedule. I don't believe there's plans at the moment, but I can confirm.
Okay, just out of curiosity, because I know you don't want to put one back in that location.
Yeah.
And through the chair, Alyssa Golden, Culture Heritage Program Lead. Members might recall it was either earlier this year or late last year, to Lisa's point, there were applications in terms of some proactive plantings that were being coordinated. So we'd be happy to recirculate that information just for the committee's refresher.
Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any other questions or clarifications? Matthew, please go ahead.
Yes, through the chair. Regarding the removal of the tree, is that typically done through a city internal in-house city staff, or do they typically, or in this case, using a external arborist?
It's not presently scheduled for our arborist, but I believe it'll be city staff removing it. Yes. They just don't have a date for removal yet. Awaiting permit approval.
Okay. Thank you, Matthew. Are there any further questions? Okay, Lisa, may we see the proposed conditions, please?
Yes, let me find them.
Mhm.
Sorry, I thought I had everything pulled up and ready to go. I do not. So we will just use our note sheet. It's just subject to the standard conditions that any minor changes and the expiry date of 2 years from today or from the end of the month.
Exactly. Okay, so may we have a mover and a seconder to recommend approval of heritage permit HP 2025-028, subject to these staff recommended conditions? I see Graham and I see Andy. And is there anyone opposed? I see none, so that motion is carried. Thank you very much. Okay, we'll move on to the second application for this evening. It's item 9.2, HP 2025-029, 1280 Main Street West in Hamilton, it's part of McMaster University Core, Part 4 property. And the application is for rehabilitation of 13 existing windows in Convocation Hall, in University Hall, including cleaning and repairing of the original 1929 single pane glazing in lead frames where failing, removal of the vertical midsection portion of the frame for rehabilitation and reinstallation or replacement in kind as needed, installation of interior horizontal supports or braces, and repair of the remaining intricate work at the top and the operable fixed frames at the bottom of the windows in place. So do we have a representative from the owner or applicant here to speak to the application this evening?
Yes, you do. Sorry, took me a second to find the button there. Let's see if we get the camera going here. Use camera. There we are.
Okay, welcome, Ed.
Thank you.
Is there anything you'd like to add to what was already described for the project?
No, I think it pretty much encapsulates what's going on. They like to clean and detail the work in place as much as possible. There's a bit of a deflection happening in the lead framing. There's one of the photographs in the A3 drawing, detail F. I think you can see it there. The bottom third is a bit of a bow happening, and it's typical of most of the windows, varying degrees depending on where they are. Now, these are the original windows from 1929, so they've held up quite well over the years. So we expect there to be just minimal work on it, and ideally, most of it will be done in place. The intent is to end up with something just cleaner and shiny and straightened up a bit.
Okay, thank you. Do we have any questions from the committee for Mr. Schuck? Graham, please go ahead.
Yeah, I'm very happy here you guys are fixing these windows. It's great to see. Just out of curiosity, though, these horizontal bars going across, what material are they?
They would be probably a cast iron, something in kind with what's there. Actually, in the lower left-hand corner of that A3 drawing, again, detail H, there's a window at the end of the stage, at the very end of the hall. It has a very similar sort of a horizontal strut running across at the mullion line. So
Yeah, it's just hard to see because it's so dark, right? That's why I was
Yeah,
just
well,
curious.
exactly. Yeah, it's a very simple little angle bar across. Yeah.
Yeah, it's only one of those going in, or you're going to go in more than one location?
The intent's just the one. At the if we're counting mullions up, there's typically five, or rather four mullions, five panes of glass. It'd be the second one up. That's where most of the deflection's happening currently.
Okay. So it's not going to be too obnoxiously in sight. It's just you're going to see it, but not horribly.
Exactly. It will not look out of place. There's already that sort of bracing in the other window too.
Okay. Well, thank you.
Thanks, Graham. Sandra, do you have a question or clarification?
Yes, I had a question. I wondered if there was a detail that had been provided in your drawing set of that specific angle.
No, there's not. Sorry.
Okay. Is this something that can be provided?
Yes, certainly we could put something together for that. Yes. Yeah, that our intent initially was to get some of the tradesmen on site and get their best feedback on how to approach it. It will be anchored into the stone on either side, and essentially the lead is hung from it at that one brace, just to take some of the load off the thin profile of the lead.
Yeah, I think sort of picking up on what Graham said, maybe there's a maximum dimension that could be noted within the drawings.
Oh,
They
certainly,
look like they're
yes.
maybe a half an inch, quarter of an inch. Is that the thickness?
It is a very thin profile. I would say it's probably about 3/4 of an inch thickness, depth, sorry. And yeah, it wouldn't exceed that as far as the brace goes. It's not the intent to actually cover any of the glazing. Um,
Yeah.
just blend it in with the mullions that are there.
Thank you.
Are there any further questions from any of the committee members? I see Matthew. Please go ahead.
Through the chair, thanks, Ed. Related regarding the alterations and the repairs, has an effort or is an effort going to be made to also match the nearby or next door Hamilton Hall? My understanding is that the buildings are roughly the same age and share similar architectural styles, and they're both sort of icons of the McMaster campus and their brand. Has an effort been made to try and match the design of those windows?
The intent here is to go back with in-kind framing. Um, it pretty much exactly what's in place, and ideally we won't have to make alterations to the majority of the windows. We'll know better once we find out how much deflection has happened in the frames and whether they've been torn or worn with too much of a kink to the frame that they can't be repaired. Then we would do a replacement of those elements, but we're not intending to change it from what it is. It's really just a matter of straightening it out.
Okay. Are there any other questions? Okay. I had one actually. Have you chosen a company to do the work? Is it a known heritage window expert, or what have you got planned?
McMaster will, when we tender it, will certainly be following their list. They have some pre-qualified heritage contractors that they'll only be letting to those on the list. It may actually, um, I believe there's only about 5 or 6 that are qualified on their roster for the
Okay.
work. So yeah, it's with heritage in mind as is the intent. They're very much in love with this room, and they really don't want anybody doing anything to it. So
Yeah,
it's
can
a high
imagine.
priority to them.
Also, I did have one more question. You did say when the braces are going to be put in that they are going to be drilled into the adjacent stonework, or what exactly is planned there?
They would be mounted to the stonework. If you look at detail G, it gives you a bit of an idea of what the stone looks like around it. That's one of the ornamentations at the top. And in fact, in that little photo there is a stone frame runs all around, and that's where the bracket would be mounted to. So it wouldn't be mounted to the glazing itself.
Okay. And I would trust that it would be minimized as much as possible.
Oh, certainly,
Not
yes.
too-
Yeah. Yeah, but again, maybe it's a bad photo, the one with the stained glass on it there. But on the right hand side there, you can see the bracket is very nominal, where it actually connects to the stone. Just above the word John. Is that Bunyan? I believe John Bunyan.
Yeah, it's a little dark. Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Thank you. Were there any
That's
other
sort of
questions?
yeah.
from the
Sorry, that's the
community?
direction we're heading in. Yeah.
Yeah.
I wouldn't mind one more comment.
Please go ahead, Graham.
Yeah. So the purpose of these bars is actually 2 purposes then. It's going to be to stop the deflection and carry some of the weight so that it's not on the lead frames themselves.
Yes, it's yeah. The two are essentially the same.
Well, one's for wind deflection from pressures on the outside as well as in the
Yes,
weight of itself.
we believe the deformation is simply the dead weight of the unit
Oh,
itself
okay.
rather than the
Okay.
wind. Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, now I see, it looks like Matthew has his hand up, but that might just be from before. Okay. Are there any more questions? Not at this point. Okay. Lisa, could you please put up the proposed conditions?
Sure. Sorry. So the conditions should be up here. Originally, we just had the two standard conditions. Based on the conversation, we've added the condition highlighted yellow.
Okay. I think that's a good idea. Because that was basically what all the questions were about. So, yeah. Okay. So may I have a mover and a seconder then to recommend approval of Heritage Permit HP 2025-029, subject to the staff recommended conditions, which you saw before you on the screen? See Katie, and I see Graham. Is there anyone opposed? Okay. Seeing none, that motion is carried. Okay. Thank you very much, Ed. Nice to see you.
Thank you for your time.
And good luck with the project.
Thank you.
Right. Now we'll move on to our third application for this evening. Item 9.3, HP 2025-030, 1315 Inglewood Drive in Hamilton, which is Part 4 property. And the application is for removal of a portion of the failing retaining wall and replacement with a new terraced garden. Is the owner or applicant here to speak with us this evening?
Yes, he is.
Okay, so, all right, welcome, David.
Thank you.
Thank you for joining us. Is there anything you'd like to add to the brief description that we already read just now?
Maybe just a little bit of history. First off, our consulting engineer was supposed to be on this call. He's told me he can't join till 5:30 or so we may miss him, but I think I can cover everything unless there's something specifically from him. So this wall is, as you can see in the photos, has been deteriorating somewhat. It's much worse than is now than it is in the photo, and it's even actually much worse than when Lisa came maybe a month or 6 weeks ago. It's also another section a little to the left of that has started to come down as well. The engineer believes it's because of the age of the wall, the way it was constructed. There's no rebar in there. There's no drainage allowed. It was probably put in 75 years ago. And water has been coming through from the lawn. We've taken some steps to try and drain our roofs away from that wall in the last month or so, which just seems to be helping it. So we started the project by hiring Tacoma engineers to come in and sort of give us some idea of what we could do. Now, understand we have 5 residents here, 5 condos and 5 residents, of which 3 are retired folks, and 2 of them perfectly have gone through some fairly serious surgery recently. And so we really have to be careful. Again, I don't know when we can get this done, subject to your approval, but we have to be careful about how much we impact on the driveway, because there's quite a steep hill that gets up to the front door of the building, and we don't want to really close off that driveway for a long time. So given that sort of parameters, Tacoma came back with 3 options, and I sent you the April 23rd report where they came through with the 3 options, one being replace the wall as it is with the similar construction, replace the wall as it is with what do they call it? Aesthetic and some kind of block wall. And the third, which was to take this garden approach to it, which all the owners seem to believe is a much more aesthetic and attractive approach. And also, according to our engineer, will have the least impact on timing of the closure or impact on the driveway. So that's where we are. You've got plans that have been suggested. I understand these are not plans that can be sent out for quotes, but wanted to give you a sense of what the engineer and our landscape architects are proposing for this area. There are a couple of things that we wanted to achieve here with this new proposed plan. The main one being is this new wall that comes in from the current wall will stabilize the remaining wall significantly by forming that L shape. Instead of having a long drawn out wall that continues along, that new wall that comes back that's sort of at a 45-degree angle will further stabilize the remaining wall, which we think is very important. I'd also like to apologize for the way it's just referred to as a historic manor. I think it's an MANOR, but we'll just skip right by that. So that's, I guess, really the story. We're trying also to minimize any impact on some current gardening. You can see there's a lovely large birch tree there. There's some landscape lighting, and the way this new garden is drawn here will not impact any of that garden at all. We've got some lovely plantings in there, flowers and shrubs, and we want to not have to impact those as well. So this will, we may have to move some of them during construction, but it will help us to maintain that area as well.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much. Are there any questions from the committee for David? Andy, please go ahead.
Through the chair, just a little bit of clarity on the new terraced garden. Is that like a stepped garden? Is that the idea?
Yes, it's quite a steep. They're trying to, as you can probably see in the drawing, the garden, where am I on here? Yeah, the garden is flat on the top and then it hits that wall and goes straight down about 10 feet or so. So we're going to bring that down in 3 steps with stone, with the wall behind it, and then the terrace coming down 2 or 3. They're looking at 3 here, but we'll see when we get there.
Okay, thank you. That's all I have right now.
Okay. Katie and then Graham. Katie, please go ahead.
I just want to clarify the materials that we're talking about here. So it looks like you're sort of proposing 2 different pieces to it. You're going to build the new retaining wall that looks to be, I guess, poured concrete that's going to form a T with the existing retaining wall. And then that's also correct. You're going to build that terraced garden.
Yes.
So, am I correct in thinking that the new retaining wall is going to be the concrete, and hopefully you're trying to match it to the style and aesthetic of what the existing wall is, and then the garden step portion, those stones are going to match what is currently running up the side of the driveway?
That's our intent, yes.
Okay.
I think they call that architectural stone. Is that, I believe, I mean, I'm sorry, our guy's not here, but I believe that's called architectural stone. And yes, you're exactly right. They've said they may not be able to match the color of the current wall just because of the age, but they're going to get as close as they can.
Okay.
I'm not sure you're going to see much of that anyway, but yes.
Right. Okay. Okay, that's great. Thank you.
Okay. Graham, please go ahead.
My question is going to be the exact same thing: the kind of materials they're planning on using and how it's going to be actually anchored in. And also, are you going to dig in behind the remaining wall to put drainage in so you don't run into that problem?
We're hoping that the new concrete wall pinned into the existing wall will be sufficient stability. There are very few issues with that. I had a guy in today who we're thinking of asking to quote on this project, and he walked down a bit and he said there may be a little bit of patching they need to do further down, but there's no real, at least the engineer and he didn't identify any real issues in terms of failing. We think that the area that's failing now is because so much water has I got to go back to the manor again. So much water has been coming off. That's a very large deck there. And all of the water from most of the roof at the northwest corner of the building is coming onto that flat roof and then down through one eaves trough, which until we stopped it was pouring water onto the lawn right behind that wall. We think that's what's caused this problem, is all that water going down, winter freeze thaw, etc. So we've taken that away, and we will permanently take that away once we get going.
Yeah, but once you cap your T, you're going to create a dam that the water is going to get kind of trapped behind that does fall onto the
No
grass
water
anyway.
no water goes to the east or the right of that T intersection. I mean, just normal rainwater, but nothing's pouring in there from any downspouts or anything.
Yeah, I just look at your grade and stuff. It all kind of wanders down towards that corner, right?
Are you which corner are you talking about?
Like from the house, from the manor,
Yeah.
it runs across back in. Like if you look at, you got a slope at your property from
Yes.
east to west.
Yes.
So anything that comes across the top of that grass is going to stop at that wall and go down.
Okay, I see what you're saying.
Yeah, and you're going to create kind of a T. You're going to cap it. So you're going to need some kind of drainage behind that, just to make sure you don't trap the water and let it out.
Yep.
So
you
don't move the problem 30 feet left.
Yep, I agree.
Like
I'll bring that up with them. I don't think that's an issue, or they would have identified it, but certainly I'll bring that up with them when we go forward with this. There has been some talk of putting some drainage into from the street side into the remaining wall a few places, but understand that it's built onto grade, and so there's there's sort of a natural ability for the water to drain out underneath it.
And just want to make sure you don't.
I hear you.
Fix one problem, create another one.
I hear you totally. Yep. I'll make sure that's dealt with.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Are there any further questions from the committee? I guess I just had a question, if no one else does, around the modern segmental retaining wall block. And I just wonder if you have any thoughts on what that might look like. Is it?
I don't know what it looks like.
Not yet. Okay.
I mean, we're trying to get a sense from you folks if we can go ahead with this kind of a plan. Clearly, we need to do proper construction approved drawings for this with materials specified. Rest assured, we're going to be doing something that's as attractive as we possibly can, given that it's the main entrance to our property. It's what everyone sees the first time they come up that driveway. So we'll be doing something as attractive as we possibly can.
Okay. Yeah, because I mean, sometimes you see some work and it's out of proportion.
Yeah,
the stone they use, or it's okay.
If
All right.
If you sat in on one of our board meetings, you would not be worried at all.
Sorry. Okay.
Yeah.
We can't put a condition in though, right? To make sure the materials chosen suit the chief of planning, right?
I say you could put in that condition.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. Sandra, yes, you had a question?
Yeah, I put it in the chat here. It feels as though the architectural drawings are a little bit thin in conveying the story. And I think that it grants some elevation so that the group can understand, as well as some samples. There a couple of times there's been questions about materiality. What does it look like? What proportion? So I feel like those two pieces would help to move forward.
Are you suggesting that we need to provide those before we would get a heritage permit, or before we could go to construction?
It could be one of the conditions, or two of the conditions.
I'm not sure what that means. When you say a condition, is it a condition for a heritage permit, or?
Alyssa, please, you could explain.
Sure, yeah, through the chair. So this subcommittee provides advice, and if they're comfortable with proceeding with staff issuing a delegated approval, we typically have our standard conditions, which you saw for the other two permits that we just chatted about, and sometimes special conditions if there's items still outstanding. In some cases, the subcommittee might be comfortable with those conditions just coming back through staff. So we would just, after we issue a conditional approval, just work with yourself, Lisa, and you would chat through and we would review those final details. Alternatively, the subcommittee might recommend that that condition be something that they want to see. So we could still issue the approval, but that would at least get you going. You could provide those additional drawings if the subcommittee was comfortable, I guess, with the overall concept of the approach, but just wanted to see those details back through them.
Sure. Well, that's totally acceptable. We just want to be able to get going. We've been waiting a long time for our engineer to come back through this stuff. I mean, we started this last September. It's almost a year now that we've been trying to get this all organized. I know everybody's busy, but so I don't imagine we're going to be able to get started on this until next spring, but it'd be nice if we could try and get it done this fall. But I don't know whether we will be able to find contractors and everything else that we need to do. But anyway, yes, certainly we'll meet anything you need from us.
And Karen, I'll just maybe further clarification in terms of timing based on what David just said. So if the subcommittee was comfortable, obviously staff could work with the applicant after conditional approval. But if the subcommittee did want that as something that comes back through you as a part of that conditional approval, depending on the timing, David, you could be at the next subcommittee meeting for that conversation. So you'd only be a month out. And in terms of mobilizing, hopefully that wouldn't be slowing down your timing.
Well, I think if we're getting into September and October, it's probably pushing it out till next spring, because I don't think they're going to want to do this during the winter, but we're probably in that state anyway. So.
Yeah. I mean, I think as well, my opinion, I would be interested in seeing it. However, I wouldn't want to hold out the approval. I trust that city staff know what would be appropriate for, so any other thoughts from the committee? Katie?
I agree, Karen. I would be curious. I want to know because I care, but I don't feel the need to hold up the approval. So I would be comfortable with it being a condition that comes back through city staff, and then maybe we just request that we get a verbal update in the future of
Sure, we'd be happy to. And as I said the last time I was before your committee, we'd love to have you come and visit us here. I don't think many of you have been to this place, and it's pretty great. And I'm telling you, this wall is pretty butt ugly. So it'd be nice to be able to replace it with something that's a lot more attractive. I mean, anything's to be more attractive than what's there, trust me.
Okay.
Yeah.
Graham, did you have a comment, please?
Yeah, I just wanted to comment again on that wall. I don't see it as a defining feature of the property that's going to make or break the heritage features of the home. So I think as long as they put some kind of stone in that looks like an armor stone or looks like the stones they have lying at the bottom, blend it all in nice, put some good plantings in that are native to Ontario. I'm happy with staff going, yep.
Understand too that we actually approached the city to have this place designated as a heritage property.
Oh, we know that.
You didn't ask us; we asked you, because we're very, very proud of this place. And the last thing we ever wanted was some Yahoo coming in and taking it down and putting up something better or worse or whatever. So the residents here are extremely proud of this place. They spend a lot. We have our own garden committee. We do all our own work. Yeah, it's a very, very strong group of owners here who really believe in making this place as attractive as possible.
Yeah, if I remember right, I was actually on the Heritage Committee when this got designated. I think we went through the approval process.
It was like 5 years ago, maybe.
Yep, and I was on it then.
Okay.
Well, that's very nice to hear, David. Thank you for all that. Appreciate it, and I'm really glad that all the people who live there value it just so much.
Oh yeah, as I said, if you sat in on some of our board meetings, you'd be tearing your hair out. That's it's important. It's important.
Okay. Well, that being said, then perhaps we should take a look at the proposed conditions. Lisa. Okay, so now what we have here is the two standard conditions, which are the last two, and then an additional one that's that final details of proposed material changes and complete construction drawings be submitted to the satisfaction and approval of the director of planning prior to
Of course.
submission. So yeah, that's perfect. Okay, so with that being said, may I have a mover and a seconder to recommend approval of Heritage Permit 2025-030, subject to those staff recommended conditions? I see Katie and I see Sandra. All right. And is there anyone opposed? Okay, seeing none, that motion is carried. Okay, so that's it. That's
So are you done with me?
David, we are done with you. Thank you
Okay.
so much for coming in.
and-
And
And the invitation's open, just, you've got just come on by if you want to see the place. We're pretty proud of it and love to have you here. And
so we'll have to do it individually, because if we go as a committee, then it becomes an official meeting.
don't do that.
So yeah, then we'd have to webcast that. However,
Come individually, but let me know. I'm happy to show you around and bring you inside too. It's pretty spectacular in this place.
Yeah, we got to run that if you bring Joey Coleman with us.
I'm sorry?
I'm just asking if we get around that if we bring Joey Coleman with us. That way the media is invited.
all right. So that means thank you very much.
Right. Do I
David,
just press
for
this
that.
little X and say goodbye?
Yeah.
Okay,
And
thanks very
staff will
much.
be at
Appreciate
discussion.
it, everyone.
Okay,
Thank you very much.
you. All right. As there's no further business for this evening, I adjourn the meeting at 5:36 p.m. And thank you. Our next meeting is scheduled for September 16th, 2025. Thank you all for joining us this evening.
That was a very
See you
quick
soon.
meeting.
Quick and alert. Take care.
Bye.
Thank you all.
All right, guys.